Hi, my name is Lysandra.
And my name's Sean. And we want to welcome you to the Brow Effect in Miami. We are the owners and founders of the Brow Effect here in Miami. And one of the biggest questions you may have if you've landed on this website, why ombre brows versus microblading? It's one of the biggest questions we get, and we're here to kind of put you at ease about which procedure is best for you and why we only do ombre brows. So, Lysandra, what are some of the benefits of ombre versus microblading?
So I actually started the Brow Effect doing microblading, and I did love microblading for a really long time, and I didn't know much about ombre at the time. And as I was doing more and more microblading, these are a few things that I noticed was happening with the skin types that I was seeing more here in South Florida because we have a humid climate. The skin types that we mainly have here are oily skin types or combination skin types, which what happens when you have a T-zone oily or you're oily somewhere around your forehead where your brows are, eventually the strokes from microblading will blend into each other and no longer look like microblading. Instead, it ends up looking like a botched ombre powder because it just looks like a big blur and there are no strokes even visible. I still have clients today who come to me from other artists who weren't aware of this occurrence with oily skin types, and they're like, oh yeah, this is microblading. And I'm like, where are the strokes? I can't see a stroke in sight. And it's because of the oils in the skin. It tends to blend in the ink or the pigment together and no longer makes it look like nice, crisp strokes. Another thing that happens with microblading is that because there are individual strokes, over time, individual strokes will disappear one day, then the other another day, then another day. So I was seeing clients coming back within 6 to 8 months from their initial session to get touch-ups consistently. Now, because microblading is done by cutting the skins, even those little tiny micro cuts, you're still cutting the skin in order to create that hair-like look. And over time, if you continuously cut an area over and over and over, eventually you will have a scar in that one spot. Because whenever the person comes back to you or whenever you go back to have a touch-up by your artist, they're cutting in the same exact space or spot that they had cut before. And that just will eventually lead to
hypertrophic scarring.
Hypertrophic scarring, yes. And could it even eventually lead to, if you're prone to hyperpigmentation, to hyperpigment. And eventually it just doesn't look good. It's also not great for sensitive skin types because I noticed that the strokes disappear very quickly. Sensitive skin types also tend to bleed a lot, and that pushes out the pigment. Mature skin types, because on mature skin types, the skin is very frail and very thin. It tends to be very invasive because of the fact that you're cutting the skin and there is not that much collagen anymore in the skin as in someone who has a younger skin type. Then when you're cutting, it's just going really deep. And what happens with microblading is that the deeper you go into the skin, the darker and thicker the strokes will appear. So ideally, the skin ideal for microblading would be either dry skin or normal, so long as they don't have T-zone oily, and someone with hair already, and not coarse hair, only thin hair, because it only looks natural when the person actually has very thin, fine hair that looks more blendable with the strokes. And that is why these are some of the reasons why we find more benefits with ombre. Also because a lot of our microblading clients back in the day would come back to us and tell us, oh my God, Lysandra, I'm still having to fill in my eyebrows because microblading never 100% fills in your eyebrows. It's supposed to look like hair. And right now, if you have hair of your own, you know that you're having to fill in every single day because it's not 100% full. Neither is microblading going to do that for you. So clients would come back all the time, oh my God, I want them fuller, I want them fuller. So the only option was ombre powder. They're like, oh my God, but that looks so harsh. And I'm like, you have to look at the heal results. It does not heal as intense as it looks the first couple days. It heals, hence the name, ombre powder, like a powdery makeup look. Not overly makeup done, because I always like to say that this is the daytime look. This is not a night out with the girls where your makeup is like to the nines, where you have to make your eyebrows bolder to fit the makeup that you have that's a little bit bolder. This is a day-to-day thing where you can wear it without makeup or very light makeup. And it heals very subtle. My eyebrows are done. All the girls that work here, eyebrows are done. And it just is soft. And in the long run, it lasts longer because it fades all together versus with microblading just in pieces at a time. So it fades all together, so it lasts longer. That's why when we say ombre powders last 2 to 3 years, it's because of that. It's because if so long as the person's taking care of them, it can be 2 to 3 years before they need a touch-up. Whereas with microblading, we say 6 months to 2 years because of the fact that we see a lot of clients come back within 6 to 8 months to get touch-ups because of the fact that they feel like their brows are patchy due to the fact that the strokes are disappearing sporadically. So those are the reasons why we have decided to just basically do ombre powdered, and honestly we have so many more satisfied clients, so many more clients that don't have to come back continuously, don't have to spend a lot of money, and it's more like once that year and then I'll see you in a year to 2, 3 years depending upon how they take care of them. Now of course it's on you, client, to take care of your brows because we can only do so much, but that is basically the reasons why microblading is no longer a service we offer here, and ombre powder is our favorite service.
Yes, and if I could just chime in, one of the biggest concerns that me on the front end as well as Paloma who works with us, is this service painful? And you know what's crazy is that this service, ombre powder, because instead of putting individual cuts into the skin like microblading, with ombre powder brows, we use a machine with a single needle at the end. Now you're thinking, oh my gosh, needles, I don't want needles on my face. But you know what's really interesting is that we have clients that come in, I'm super freaked out, is this gonna be painful or not? The discomfort across all clients, even sometimes with those with sensitive skin, the discomfort of ombre brows is so low that some clients even fall asleep on our table. And we do use a topical numbing, with ombre powder brows, instead of putting cuts into the skin, which it's hard to measure the pressure, with ombre powder brows, we're grazing the very surface of the skin. So, you know, we have clients that say, yeah, it kind of felt like threading, or it even felt even a much less version of microneedling, because even microneedling, they're putting pressure onto the skin. So as far as the pain level goes, we assure you that one of the reasons why we only do ombre powder brows and not microblading is simply because it's that much less painful, to the point where even after we add the topical anesthetic, it's almost next to nothing. Matter of fact, clients will say, yeah, I think the most agitating thing was the wiping part, because there's, you know, they're wiping the brow, cleaning the brow, it just kind of felt, you know, a little bit on the raw side. But, you know, just that alone, I think it makes me more comfortable, because when we would do microblading, I would see clients kind of cringing on the table, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can watch this. And then, you know, with ombre powder, you know, I tell all of our potential clients that, hey, listen, you're gonna come in, it's gonna be okay. And you know, just the comfort level is that much better. And being that it's less painful, it's also that much less invasive. So as Lysandra was talking about, with microblading, you can stick with microblading, but you're gonna be getting touch-ups if it stays, you know, every 6 to 8 months, what's called a color boost. And I tell clients, potential clients all the time that, hey, listen, doing this every 6 to 8 months, one, you're putting cuts into the same skin, same areas, putting you at risk for scarring or even keloid. But after time, we'll have some clients message in saying, hey, can you fix my brows? I've gotten microblading every 6 months for the past 3 years, and it just looks like one dark tattoo. So the cool thing is, all tattoo, whether it's regular old school tattoo or like we do semi-permanent, all tattoo is meant to kind of blur out as a version of itself. Even if you look at tattoos like a regular tattoo shop with the super powerful ink, you know, over time, the design is gonna blur, whether it's through skin, swimming, natural elements. So that's kind of, the good thing is that the ombre powder brows is kind of the perfect combination for semi-permanent makeup, because it's meant to kind of blur out and give you that powdery effect. And then like Lysandra, she'll literally wake up, she doesn't do her brows unless she wants them extra dark and we're going on, some nice restaurant or something like that. So now you're probably the client with either one of 3 skin types. Could be dry, could be combination, or it can be oily. And combination, in case you don't know, is a mixture of the two. Very rare that do we have clients, maybe 5 to 10% of our clients, especially down here in Florida, we have our dry skin. okay? So with Ombre brows, we're able to take care of all skin types, okay? Whether you're dry, combination, or oily. Now, it doesn't guarantee you a result. It doesn't mean that one will last longer. Lysandra's very oily, and her brows have lasted a long time. The reason we chose Ombre brows is because whether you're dry, combination, or even oily skin, we can still help you. As long as you don't have any prior work that we would need to take a look at first. If you have prior work, you can send us in a photo of your bare brows with no makeup, but other than that, your skin type, even on the, how light or dark your skin type is, doesn't matter, the melanin tone you have. We work with clients with all different skin types, whether you're blonde, you have black hair, brown hair, very porcelain skin, very dark skin. As you can see on this photo we're putting up, like we work with clients of all
skin types and skin tones.
Skin types and skin tones. So it doesn't mean that, if you have porcelain skin and black hair that we're just gonna give you black brows, but we're gonna our artists will choose a color for you based on your skin tone and your hair color. So it's a combination of the two, but overall, that's why we love Ombre powder much more than microblading. I hope that cleared up some of the questions you have. You probably landed on this website thinking, hey, I'm looking for microblading, or I want to learn microblading. Well, at the end of the day, Ombre powder brows is just so much better for the client, and as you can see by our reviews, our clients are obviously much more happier with it.
So we hope this video helped you make a decision on whether you'd like to still get microblading or ombre powdered ombre powder. So we hope this video helped clear up some questions you may have had about microblading versus ombre. And if you do have any more questions that we can help you with, please feel free to reach out to us on our Instagram at The Brow Effect or our business phone number at 407-927-9106.